Hi everybody, on this episode we're going to be talking about bipods, and in particular the new Versapod Series 50 bipod battle pack available from Scott Country International. Welcome to the Night Vision Show. So, anyone who uses a rifle is bound to have needed a bipod at some time in their shooting life. Now, I've been using many bipods over the years. I started out with a very basic, very cheap 7 to 9 inch non-pan, non-tilt bipod. This went on my first air rifle, and I've had it for many years. It still works. I couldn't tell you what make it is. It probably didn't cost me more than 10 quid, to be honest with you, but it still works, and it sort of does the job. But it doesn't pan, it doesn't tilt, so it hasn't been much use for me ever since I started shooting centerfire and rimfire rifles. Moving on from that, I also had a play with this, which, although looks like an Atlas bipod, is actually one of the ones that's made under license by Atlas, so it's not the real thing. But I got it to see whether the genuine Atlas was something that I'd want to have. It kind of does the job well. I think the only real difference between this and the genuine Atlas is the sort of build quality and how well it actually secures its position. But I'm not a massive fan, if I'm honest. It does all right, but it goes on my 2.2 rimfire as and when required. But it's not really my sort of favourite thing. And then finally, I went and got the Harris bipod. This is my 9 to 13 inch pan tilt, superb bipod. Frankly, it is considered by most as the industry standard. My only real complaint with it, if I had any, there are two. One is that it's a bit fiddly to get on and off. It's not massive drama, but it's a bit fiddly at times, and also for me it doesn't lock up quite as well as it could. I know you can get the pod lock handles and things like that, but it just doesn't always hold the full weight of the rifle, so it's not fantastic for that. But what we have to show you today is the new Versapod Series 50 bipod, complete with its new package, which is called the Battlepack, brand new in at Scott Country International, and we're going to be taking a look at that and see how that fares against the other bipods we've got. Okay, so let's have a look at this Versapod then. As I said, it's a Series 50 we're looking at. There is a massive range of Versapod bipods out there, but the one we're particularly interested in today is the Series 50 and the Battle Pack in which it comes in. To help me out with that, I have got this rather fancy Sig Sauer MCX semi-automatic air rifle. If you're interested in this air rifle, it's a 177 caliber, is available in 2.2 as well. It's powered by CO2 canisters. I think it's got a power of roughly 600 feet per second, so target shooting, things like that, but it's pretty fancy, it's pretty cool. But the reason I'm using it is to demonstrate this, which is the Picatinny rail adapter for the Versapod. So you can see I've already mounted it on here. The way it mounts is by 2 Allen key screws. Just mounts onto the Picatinny rail, and what you get is this spigot sticking out of the top with a lug on the bottom there to secure your bipod. And the way we fit the bipod, this is the Series 50 bipod here, is we take this this lever here, press it in, and just slide the bipod on until it locks in place. And it's that simple. These adapters are available in all sorts of different fittings. The majority of people in the UK, I'm guessing, are going to use Picatinny or swivel stud. And I have a swivel stud rifle as well here, and we're going to work out how to mount the bipod adapter onto that swivel stud and see how that works. But let's have a quick look at this Series 50 bipod then. So it's all mounted on here. You can see it's got a bit of movement on it, but that's the tilt mechanism there. We can tighten that up should we need to. You can store it either forwards or backwards, depending on how you want to configure it. And the way you move it is just by squeezing in the legs and pulling it around. If you want to deploy the bipod, squeeze the legs in, let go, and it's already deployed. Now, I can see one advantage over Harris already with that, because the Harris is one leg at a time. This, straight out and you're in. It's got extendable notch legs as well. These extend via these levers here, just like that. And they're dead easy to deploy should you need to. Speaking of legs, I'll tell you something pretty cool about these legs in a minute. And what we can do with them, but they're obviously fully adjustable at the full length of those legs. This is the 9 to 13 inch bipod, which is the sort of size that I like to use generally for my shooting. So on top of that, you can see this range of movement we got here. If we want to loosen off the bipod entirely, all we need to do is just undo all these thumb screws on the side here, and then you've got a full range of movement. You've got loads of movement there. So all your pan there, plus your tilt there, there's loads of movement. But if we want to lock it up, we just tighten these thumb screws to the point where they won't go any further. And that is now, the legs are moving because that's on a spring, but there's nothing to it. It's not going anywhere, that. Not quite tight enough, there we go. So that is now completely solid. That's not going anywhere. Obviously with bipod shooting, you want stability, so if you need to lock it down, you need to have the full knowledge that it is going to hold in place and it's going to be absolutely fine. That's not going anywhere. That's nice, that. Impressed with that. So in order to remove the bipods, first of all we need to make sure that the tilt thumb screw is loose, and then all we do, press the lever, pull it straight off, and it can go away in storage then. They're quite light. I'll check on the actual weight of them in a minute, but they're quite light bipods, so they're not going to add massive weight. But ultimately, if you're carrying your rifle with just the adapter on it, it's not going to cause much added weight issues for you. And this can just go in your bag, in your pocket, whatever you need, until you're ready to deploy it like that. Dead easy. Okay, so as promised, we also need to have a look at the swivel stud adapters for these Versapods. Now I've got one here, and this is what it looks like. So this just goes on the underside of your forend for the rifle, and the way we're going to fit it is just like this. I will do it on camera for you so you can see just how easy it is. So here's my rifle. What we're going to do is present this part here, which fits over the swivel stud. Push a pin through the hole so it just slots in place like that. Pop the adapter over the top, and then just screw this thumb screw down until it's nice and tight, and that ain't going anywhere. On the bottom of the adapter we've also got a swivel stud attachment for slings and things like that, so ultimately you're not going to lose out on any features just by having this adapter on your rifle. So one thing I have discovered is if you have got a beaver tail type forend like this CZ rifle has, and you tighten up the adapter fully, what you'll end up with is the spigot will be about 1 millimeter away from the forend, which means that you can't fit the bipod on. It's really easy to fix that. All you do is just undo your adapter ever so slightly, slide your bipod on, tighten it up. So it's not like you've got to remove everything, and once that's on there, you've still got your full range of movement and everything else, and it's not going to be rubbing against anything, so it's good. Any bipod is utterly useless if it doesn't stabilise your rifle, so we need to have a look and see how this stabilises. I've got the bipod ready in a pre-deployment position, if you will. This is like the storage position, I guess, on my 17 HMR. To deploy it, what I'm going to do, squeeze the legs, bring it down and let go, and that's ready to start using. I quite like to extend the legs most of the time when I'm shooting because I'm quite tall, so just do that, and now we're ready. And you can see, because it's all loosened up, what a massive range of movement you've got here. It does stabilise it quite nicely, but if I've got a fox running from left to right, say, massive range of movement there, and also huge panning motion I've got there. So all in, absolutely masses of movement there, which is all well and good until you want to zero the rifle. So when we're zeroing, we want to have the rifle nice and steady. So if we tighten that up, and we've got a nicely locked in rifle there. There is one more feature that this bipod has, which I have to say is my absolute favourite feature about it, and that is that when you push the rifle forwards on the bipod, it locks it down completely, which is absolutely superb. So let's say for example, let's loosen it up. That's now loads of movement again, nice and loose. Let's say we're moving left to right or right to left, and then I see what I want to shoot at. All I need to do, lean into the rifle, and that locks it down completely. So it doesn't matter whether you've got it really open and loose or tightened right up. If you push that rifle forward on there, that's really stable, which is going to really help get onto those shots. So it's not like you've got to set the bipod up before you take your shot, is what I'm saying. You can leave it loose, push it forward, lock it in, take your shot. I have to say it stabilises the rifle really well, does a really nice job of that, and I particularly like that locking feature where you push the rifle forwards and it locks it in. So overall, really impressed with that. Okay, so just one more thing to tell you about on this bipod, which frankly I've been really impressed with. But just as an additional extra, you can buy the Series 50 bipod from Scott Country International in what is called a battle pack. Now this comes in a useful molly pouch, but it's not just a bag to keep your bipod in. Obviously it's not, there's got to be more to it than that. What do we get with it then? Well, VersaPod, I think we've already established, is all about versatility. So what you also get are 2 other sets of legs. You get this leg here, which is a ski leg, useful for wet grass, mud, something where you need to get a little bit of grip to stop it sinking, that sort of stuff. That's quite useful, especially in this country. And then this one, which is called the Raptor leg, which has got some spikes on it, and that is going to dig into sand, onto rock, things like that. And obviously, as we've already seen, we get the rubber legs, which are great for car bonnets, just normal ground benches, that sort of stuff. Is going to give you plenty of grip. So the VersaPod bipod then, entirely versatile and will meet the needs of pretty much every rifle shooter out there. If you get the battle pack, it comes with that nice bag and the range of feet for different terrains. You can get different adapters for different rifles, so that you only need to buy the one bipod and just switch it out depending on which rifle you want to use on that particular day. my favourite bit, that locking mechanism when you push the rifle into the bipod and it just holds it really steady to get that shot off. That's a really, really nice feature. It holds the rifle steady anyway when it's all locked down with the thumb screws. You can just do so much with it. The extending legs, the rubber feet, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm really impressed with it. If you're interested in the Versapod bipod range, check it out at scottcountry.co.uk. They've got the full range there, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you again soon.